we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
That's a direct order. Do it now.
He's been put down, ripped off, cut open. Now he's unleashed. The American insurgency starts now. This is Rusty Humphries, Rebellion Radio.
Hey, how are you? Welcome. My name is Rusty Humphries. This is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. We are powered by right-wing news. You can watch us on Liberty One TV and many awesome Facebook pages, the podcast. I hope you'll subscribe to it and download it on a daily basis. If you're not around your computer, it's very simple. Get it sent right to your phone. Whether you are an iTunes guy or a Apple, it's Apple Podcast now is what they call it. You get it right on your iPhone or on your Android. Go to the Google Play Store and you'll find it. Again, type in Rusty Humphries. That's me. You'll find me. Also, I have a new podcast that I do once a week with my friend Orson Scott Card, who is one of the great authors of all time. You ever read the book Ender's Game? That's Orson Scott Card, and we put out a show called We Review Everything, where it's not really political, but we review everything, movies, and today it was Wet Wipes, and the case for education. So anyway, it's a great podcast. You can also find that at iTunes and Stitcher. Download it. It's a lot of fun. All right, well, I want you to check in, if you would, please, and then we're going to get into some of the latest information, some breaking news. What a shock. More Democrat collusion. Let's see here. Peter shared it all around the planet twice. Thank you, Peter. You rock. Tracy, howdy from healthy, wealthy, and wise Oklahoma. Mike is a proud Republican from the blue state. Christy is in Minnesota. Harold's in South Carolina. Janet saying, hey, Rusty, watching from Leeville, Louisiana. Hey, Janet, how are you? Nancy's there from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Anna is there from Clearwater, Florida, and Anna always shares. That's why Anna rocks. Anna, you rock. By the way, now Anna, you rock, but have you downloaded the HearMeOut app? The HearMeOut app. It's so very important. What the HearMeOut app is, it's like Twitter, except you don't have to type. It's communicating with our voices. And it is an app that is not being run or owned by these major social media companies that are doing their best to censor conservative speech. And so with the more and more we're finding out how conservatism is being censored, we need to find a place where we can communicate, and the Hear Me Out app is it. Please do it now before you forget. And follow me, Rusty Humphries, very important. And if you'll do it and then type in hashtag Rusty, I'll follow you back, okay? And then my book is out there, too. 7 Ways to Win Political Debates to Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends at Amazon. Okay, new story being broke by Fox News today. Let's just get right to it. More collusion. What a shock. Not really, but here it is.
Martha, good to see you. These text messages obtained by Fox show that Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat, as you say, who's been leading one of several probes of President Trump's ties to Russia, had extensive contact last year with the lobbyist for a Russian oligarch who offered him access, yes, to Christopher Steele. Now, Warner texted he would, quote, rather not have a paper trail in case he could not seal an agreement with the former British spy. Steele has still not agreed to an interview with the panel. Warner began texting with the lobbyist, Adam Waldman, in February 2017 about brokering a deal with the Justice Department to get the WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, to the U.S. to potentially face criminal charges. That went nowhere, though Warner's office tells me he turned over whatever information he got to the FBI in that matter. Warner and Waldman also exchanged dozens of texts about possible testimony from Waldman's primary client, the Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska, who had his visa revoked by the State Department in 2006 because of charges he has organized crime ties, which he denies. Warner was intent on connecting directly with Christopher Steele without anyone else being in the loop, at least initially. An aide to the Republican chairman, Senator Richard Burr, now tells Fox he was aware of the contact that Warner made, but added, quote, I don't believe he was aware, Burr, of the content of these text messages that Fox is getting. Quote, we have so much to discuss, you need to be careful, Warner texted, but we can help our country. He sent that to Waldman last March 22nd. I'm in, texted Waldman, whose firm has ties, yes, to Hillary Clinton. Now, secrecy seemed important to Warner on March 29th, when the lobbyist revealed that Christopher Steele wanted a bipartisan letter from Warner and Burr. Quote, hey, Warner texted, can't we do brief off-the-record call today before the letter so I can frame letter? That's what Warner texted about Steele, who, of course, put together, as you said, the dossier. Warner added, quote, okay, but I would like to do a preliminary call, you, me, and him, meaning Steele, no one else, before the letter, just so we have to trail to start. Want to discuss scope first before letter, no leaks. Waldman noted repeatedly Steele was concerned about leaks, so Warner texted back March 30th, quote, we want to do this right, private in London, don't want to send letter yet, because if we can't get agreement, would rather not have paper trail. Now, the committee got the text from Waldman, I'm told, last September, and a Warner aide acknowledged that Warner and Burr revealed these texts to their colleagues quietly last October because, quote, they realized out of context it doesn't look great. But aides to Warner and Burr stressed to me today that Chairman Mr. Burr was in the loop. The senators just gave us this joint statement, quote, from the beginning of our investigation, we have taken each step in a bipartisan way, and we intend to continue to do so. Leaks of incomplete information out of context by anyone, inside or outside our committee, are unacceptable. The Senate Intelligence Committee has been in possession of this material for several months. The full committee has had access to the material and been briefed on its content, and committee investigators have pursued all relevant investigative leads related to this material. We wanted to give that full statement. Okay. Now, Waldman, who did not return calls today seeking comment, runs Endeavor Group. He signed a $40,000 a month retainer in 2009 and 2010 to petition the U.S. government on behalf of that Russian billionaire, Deripaska. There are reports that Deripaska, who sued Paul Manafort over a failed business deal, has information to share with the U.S. Congress. But last May, both the Senate and House Intel panels decided not to give Deripaska legal immunity. So far, he has not testified, Martha.
I mean, it's clearly of interest that this Oleg Deripaska has links to both Paul Manafort and then also to this this lobbyist who has done work for the Clintons. And, you know, it's potentially at least a string to follow up on that the Russians perhaps were trying to lay groundwork on both sides of the fence here.
No doubt about it. And look, the Washington Post reported last year that the special counsel, Robert Mueller, is interested in the fact that there are other emails from Paul Manafort promising this Russian oligarch inside access to the Trump campaign. I can give you information before anyone else has it. Nobody knows whether that ever really happened. Clearly, Manafort was trying to wield influence. The committee, still wants to talk to Manafort more. They want to talk to the oligarch. They haven't gotten that testimony. But the bottom line is, Democrats have spent a lot of time talking about the president's ties to Russians, what kind of conversations he and his aides have had. Now these text messages that I got from a Republican source close to the committee is clearly an attempt by Republicans to say, hang on a second, the top Democrat on this committee also had some questionable conversations about trying to keep some of this secret. And again, I want to stress, Warner's office is very direct with me in saying they realize that this doesn't look good out of context, as they say, but they insist that the Republican chairman was in the loop and that there was no freelancing going on here to try to get dirt from Christopher Steele.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they would like to
let's just handle this the way the Democrats do. He's guilty. He needs to go to prison. He needs to be removed from the Senate. He has done nothing but work. He's nothing but Putin's boyfriend. Senator Warner is Putin's boyfriend, and because of that, he needs to be drummed out of the United States of America. And anybody he's ever talked to, ever met, ever had lunch with, they're all guilty too. They're nothing but Russia lovers. Steve says, mark my words, someone is going to die. Well, I hope not. But first of all, Democrats always do this. They project. You know, we've been talking about persuasion and how the Democrats have used media manipulation and manipulate people's emotions to further their cause. The other thing they do is they tend to project stuff that they do. They say, well, that guy must do it, because they assume if they're doing it, everybody else must be doing it too. So I've always thought that there was something stinky about the Russia thing. I mean, we've known it. There's new information about the uranium tonight. We're going to get into that in just a second. But this, to me, shows more and more evidence that the Democrats are projecting their sins upon the Trump administration and the Republican Party using inside government officials to weaponize the government, to use those people to try to commit a coup d'etat on the people of the United States of America to remove President Trump. I want to know from you, do you agree with my theory here? Thumbs up. If you disagree with my theory, give me the anger. Thumbs up if you think I'm right. This is more proof that is Democrat collusion with Russia. More proof that the Democrats are projecting their sins on other people. And Senator Warner needs to, and Hillary and Barack Obama and all of them need to be investigated with a fine-tooth comb. If you agree with that, I want thumbs up. If you disagree, no, Rusty, you're just being a big old meanie. I want the anger sign. Okay? And your comments. I want to see what you have to say. Joshua says, for the love of God, lock them up. Blaine says it's starting to look like a RICO case. Rashid is in Chicago. Faye gives me the thumbs up. Sita says, it is so sad how some politicians sell their souls to the devil. They have no regard for the people who elected them. Let's see here. Mike is in Alabama. James is over there. Ashley is in Idaho. Felix says there will never be any bipartisan deals on anything where the Democrats can't win. Denise is from the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington. What part of Seattle? I grew up in Seattle myself. Christine says you are 100% correct. Why, thank you, Christine. Arlie says, I personally don't care which party they're in. If they are dirty, bring them down. But I'm betting the Dems are the guilty party. Now, see that, Arlie, you are 100% correct. If it was shown that Donald Trump was committing treason, if Donald Trump did all these horrible things, wouldn't you and I be the first ones to go, okay, that's not cool, get out? I know I would. If I thought for a minute Donald Trump tried to manipulate our country and had Russia doing it for him, and Hillary Clinton should have been elected and Donald Trump cheated, I'm sorry, even though I can't stand Hillary Clinton, I believe in our country and our rule of law. I agree too much with our principles of our great republic than I do the ends justify the means. Now, I know I'm rare, especially with Democrats in the House. Democrats don't care. They'll lie, cheat, and steal. And again, I'm not talking about every Democrat. There's good people that are Democrats. Those are people I would call classical liberals, your friends, who might be in the Union, who still love America. They love, patriotism. They want a strong military. They don't want communism in our country. They believe in capitalism. They believe in all the good things that made America great. I'm not talking about those Democrats. Those are good people. They've just been lied to. And it's the liars and the cheaters and the thieves and the bums and the scumbags in the Democrat Party, the Socialist Party, the Communist Party. That's what it is today. Those are the people I'm talking about. Can I get an amen, brother and sister? Do you agree? If you agree, a thumbs up. This is a thumbs up day. Thumbs up. Charlotte says, when I attended Al-Anon, I learned when people tell you who they are, they really telling you who they are. Andrew says, it's funny, but people don't realize that all countries are trying to affect all elections. There were flags flying in the American streets that were from other countries trying to affect the election. That don't anyone remember? Other countries are still trying to today. But yeah, it was only the Russians trying to affect the election. Amen, brother. Jacob thinks firing squad. I don't know about that. Joyce is worse than Watergate. Yes. Stevie got 21 emails from about 8 Democrats, including Al Gore, asking for donations. 5 from Nancy today. Wow. Thomas agrees with me 100%. Roxanne gives me an amen. Cindy wants to know what happened to honest people. I don't know. Michael says, I agree with you 100%, but following the law went out the window on 9/11. I don't know if I'd go with 9/11, but all right, here's some more information. Breaking news. Important stuff coming in from zerohedge.com. An FBI informant testifies that Moscow, get this over there so you can read better. Moscow routed millions to the Clinton Foundation in the Russian uranium dominance strategy. Now, this is no surprise. This doesn't surprise me one bit. This is stuff that we knew, that we talked about during the election, but now finally the media is starting to come around to us. The stuff that we talked about that we knew was happening. We knew it. We felt it deep in our soul. Did you not feel it deep in your soul? I felt it deep in my soul. I knew the Clintons were corrupt. I knew that was all corrupt and evil for money and power. And now it's starting to get exposed. But here's what they're saying. Undercover FBI informant William Campbell has given written testimony to congressional investigators after an ironclad gag order was lifted in October. Campbell was a highly valued CIA and FBI informant and deeply embedded in the Russia nuclear industry while Robert Mueller was the director of the FBI. Campbell was required by the Russians under threat to launder large sums of money, which allowed the FBI to uncover a massive Russian nuclear money laundering operation. He collected over 5,000 documents and briefs over a 6-year period, some of which detail efforts by Moscow to route money to the Clinton Foundation. Campbell claims to have video evidence of bribe money related to the Uranium One deal being stuffed into suitcases. The Obama FBI knew about the bribery scheme, yet the administration still approved the Uranium One deal. To thank him for his service, Campbell was paid $51,000 by FBI officials at a 2016 celebration dinner in Crystal City. When it emerged that Campbell had evidence against the Clinton Foundation, a Yahoo News article by Michael Isikoff of FISA warrant application fame slammed Campbell as a disaster potential witness. An undercover FBI informant embedded in the Russian nuclear industry who was made to sign an illegal non-disclosure agreement by former Attorney General Loretta Lynch has finally given his testimony to 3 congressional committees. And this goes on and on and on and on and on. In the words of the great Gomer Pyle, surprise, surprise, surprise. But then again, it's not a surprise. So now we have an FBI informant testifying he knew that the Russians did give money for that uranium, did give it to the Clinton Foundation. You knew it, I knew it, we all knew it. And yet the press, no idea. None whatsoever. Do me a favor right now, share this video. Share it right now. The truth needs to be told. Get this out there. Put on there, the truth is being told right now. Watch this video. When you share, right above share, it's going to say, you want to say anything? Yes. The truth is being told right now. Watch this video. Do it right now. And then when you did, I want you to say, I shared it. I'll say your name. Okay? I shared it, Rusty. I'll say your name. By the way, make sure you download the Hear Me Out app too, would you please? Mary says, liberals are so incredibly blind and biased, they only see what they want to, even when it's right in their face. Sheena says, of course they knew. Mickey says it's the Clinton Crime Corporation. Nancy shared it. David shared it. Joyce shared it. Jan shared it, Rusty. Thank you. Arlie says, Rusty, do you believe we will live long enough to see justice in this corrupt mess? I'm fearful we will not. They are dug in deep. Arlie, I think I don't know that Clintons are going to go to jail, but I think they're going to clean out a lot of the people in the deep state. I do believe that. Let's see who else has shared it. I want to say your names. I do. I want to give you credit that you deserve because you're helping spread the truth in an environment where they do not want to hear it. David shared it. Joyce shared it. Jan, I shared it. Rusty, Jack, I shared it. Sheena, mainstream media bias. Yep. Genevilia shared it. Chris shared it. Thank you, Chris. Gordon shared it. Brian shared it. David shared it. Give me a bunch of flags. Thank you, David. Doug shared it. Matthew. Russia can't put anyone in your country that will create the disregard America's having on America than Trump is creating. Tell me what he's done, Matthew. and try to use reason and logic. I know you're going to try to launch either into profanity or emotion. I'm very curious. Now that I've tipped you off, I know what you're going to do. Tell me what it is that Trump's done that's been so bad. Okay? Thank you, Matthew. I'll look forward to that. James shared it. Terry shared it. Catherine shared it. Sheena shared it. Laverne shared it. Randy always shares the stuff. Thank you, Randy. You rock. Janet shared it. Lance shared it. John shared it. Joshua, lock him up. Kara shared it. Chris shared it. George shared it. Mike shared it. Edward shared it. Sheena shared it. Roy shared it. Laura. Michael says, hey, Rusty, I share it. Love your show. Watching blah, blah, blah. Watching Hannity right now. Well, thank you. Connie shared it. Mike shared it. Dan says, of course, we all knew. Larry shared it. Thank you. Let's see here. Bugsy says, yes, this is the truth. I shared it. Wanda shared it. Arlie shared it. David shared it. Christina shared it. Deanna shared it. Bert shared it. Antoinette shared it. Doug shared it. Everybody, you all rock. Thank you. Thumbs up. Give yourself a thumbs up. Give yourself a thumb up right in here. Thumbs up. Okay. Rand Paul is out there trying to... Okay, before I get to Rand Paul. So there's a bipartisan agreement in the Senate that Chuck Schumer thinks is good. Now, do you honestly believe, if you honestly believe that Chuck Schumer is going to put a bill that is not going to do something to hurt Donald Trump or the Republican Party, if you think that Chuck Schumer, you think I'm wrong, I think Chuck Schumer will only put out something that would make the Trump administration look bad, the Republican Party look bad, because all Chuck Schumer's looking for are political points in an upcoming election season. If you agree with me, thumbs up. If you think I'm wrong, I want you to give me the frowny face or the sad. Because in my opinion, there is no way, and I mean absolutely no way, none whatsoever, that Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, right before an election year, will give the Republicans anything of substance that they don't have something in there that's going to make them look bad. Now, this bill, I mean, man, are we Republicans? Are they spending money? They're just spending it. It's going crazy, going nuts, how much money they want to spend. What happened to Republicans not wanting to spend a bunch of government money? Now you can say, well, Trump asked for a lot of this stuff. Well, Trump is new. And this is where Republicans are supposed to come up and say, Mr. President, we love you, but as a Republican, we don't want to spend a whole ton of cash. So we need to start a little cutty. We need not spend so much money because it's not good for the country, number one. Number two, whatever you do, whatever deal you make with the Democrats, they've got something in it that they're planning on making you look bad. That's a guarantee. Sun will rise, sun will set. The Democrats are looking to make you look bad. Republicans and Donald Trump. And the only ones, John McCain, he's a Democrat now anyway. Now, Rand Paul's standing up against this. He's up there speaking, talking about hypocrisy and out-of-control spending. I'm not going to play a ton, but let's listen to a little bit of Rand Paul and what he's saying on the floor of the Senate right now here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
On a bill that will add $1.5 trillion to the debt over the next 10 years. This is a large amount of money and something that we should be very wary of. This is in addition to what we were already running debt of nearly $1 trillion. So we're adding a couple of hundred extra $1 billion a year to a budget and a country and a Congress that had already recklessly let spending get out of control.
He's right.
The bill is nearly 700 pages. It was given to us at midnight last night, and I would venture to say no one has read the bill. No one can thoroughly digest a 700-page bill overnight, and I do think that it does things that we really, really ought to talk about and how we should pay for them. One of the things this bill does is it's going to add $500 billion in spending over a 2-year period. This bill increases spending 21%. Does that sound like a large amount? Anybody at home getting a bonus or an increase in your paycheck of 21%? And yet your government's going to spend 21% more without really having a full debate, without having amendments. The exchange you just watched was me asking to have a 15-minute vote. I've been asking all day. I've been asking all week for it. We could have literally had dozens of votes today, but we squabble because people don't want to be put on the spot. So the reason I'm here tonight is to put people on the spot. I want people to feel uncomfortable.
Good.
I want them to have to answer people at home who said, how come you were against President Obama's deficits, and then how come you're for Republican deficits? Isn't that the very definition of intellectual dishonesty?
Yes.
If you were against President Obama's deficits and now you're for the Republican deficits, isn't that the very definition of hypocrisy?
He's right.
People need to be made aware. Your senators need to answer people from home, and they need to answer this debate. We should have a full-throated debate. My amendment says this simply: we should obey the budget caps. What are budget caps? These are limits we placed on spending, both military and non-military. We placed them in 2011, and guess what? For a year or two, government actually shrunk. But now government's taking off, and this new stimulus of deficit spending will be as big as President Obama's stimulus. Don't you remember when Republicans howled to high heaven that President Obama was spending us into the gutter, spending us into oblivion?
Yep.
And now Republicans are doing the same thing.
Okay, he's right.
And so I ask the question, whose fault is it? Republicans? Yes. Whose fault is it? Democrats? Yes, it's both parties' fault. You realize that this is the secret of Washington. The dirty little secret is the Republicans are loudly clamoring for more military spending, but they can't get it unless they give the Democrats welfare spending. So they raise all the spending. It's a compromise in the wrong direction.
Yep.
We should be compromising in the direction of going towards spending only what comes in. And yet this goes on and on and on. You will hear people say, well, the military...
He goes on for another hour. I got to tell you, he's 100% right. Now, I like Rand Paul. I did not support him for president. I don't know, maybe I should have, looking at that speech. But I completely agree with him and the intellectual honesty argument, because I use it a lot. We have to be intellectually honest. You can't say, well, hey, the spending was terrible under Obama. He spent more money than all presidents combined. Isn't that awful? And then this new budget is even bigger, and go, well, it's okay, it's Trump. Can't do it. Can't do it. Cannot do it. Wouldn't be prudent. Joshua thinks the Democrats are done. Republicans going to get 60-plus seats in the next election. Not if they go for this deal, they won't. Not if they go for this deal. If the Republicans don't stop the spending and don't hold the Democrats at bay while they have majorities and the White House, why vote for them? There's no reason to. Michael says, wow, who knew? We do now. Not cool. I hope they change this. I hope so. Steve says, you're absolutely right, Rand. Sheena says, Rand Paul has flip-flopped on some issues. Yes, but this one, I mean, he's right on this. He is. We can't just keep spending. I wish we could. It would be great. You know, wouldn't it be great if communism and socialism worked? We all pitched in a little bit, and everybody pulled their fair share, and you never had to worry about money, and everybody had a really nice house and car, and we were all just good friends, comrades. Everybody is wonderful, and our leaders just looked out for the people, because as the people runs, it'd just be awesome. It doesn't work. I wish it did. It doesn't. It's a lie. It's a lie. And the scary part now is that the Democrats, they know. Socialism has been a failure long enough. They know it's a lie. These leaders, they know. They just want to keep taking from you so they can continue to have the power and the money. It's very profitable to be a Democrat congressperson. Very profitable. Let's see here. Larry says, term limits for everyone in any public office. I agree. Chris says, where are they going to get this money? It's an insane amount. It is. Lance says, those are good ideas on paper. Communism, sure, it just doesn't work. David thinks both parties are corrupt. Albert shared the video. Boyd shared the video. Albert thinks the truth is out. That's right. Wesley says we need fresh minds in Congress. We have to hold them out. I mean, think about this. There is a chance that Nancy Pelosi could be Speaker of the House again. She was Speaker of the House during the Bush W administration. How long ago was that? Let's see. When did Pelosi become Speaker? (2002). What year is this? 2018? You're telling me it's been 16 years. 16 years. 16 years. She's still in that Congress after 16 years. The Democrats haven't put in anybody in more power over her in 16 years. And before that, she had to have been the most powerful to get that gig. Holy moly. Democrats, y'all got to come up with something new. The only thing new with Nancy Pelosi is her upgraded plastic surgery. Cindy thinks Nancy needs to go. Yep, Tim, it's 2018. You're right. Tom thinks she's as old as dirt. Yep. A little liberal, another liberal story today. You know one thing that bothers me? Oh, it drives me nuts. Does it bother you too? Going in a store, a grocery store, the mall, a restaurant, and the airport. And here comes somebody with their dog. Now, don't get me wrong. I love dogs. I got a dog, Jack. I'll bring him in maybe tomorrow. Well, I'm not doing a show tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. But I'll bring in Jack sometime. I love dogs, okay? But this is my emotional support animal. If it's an emotional support animal, why did it just steal that kid's ice cream cone? Okay? It's not a trained animal. It's just your dog, and you want to bring him everywhere. Right? I mean, I do understand, some people and they have some problems, although I think it's becoming, there's so few problems in our lives that we're now manufacturing problems to make things worse on ourselves. But so people are bringing their dogs onto the planes and all kinds. What was the story the other day where some idiot brought a emotional support peacock? What a moron. Well, here's the latest. A college student says she had to flush her emotional support hamster down a toilet because of Spirit Airlines. An attorney for Berlin Eldacosta said Spirit Airlines told her she could bring the hamster on board. College student flushed her pet hamster down the toilet because Spirit Airlines wouldn't let her fly with the animal. I'm sorry. Let me get this straight. So you come on the airplane. Hello, I am very upset. I'm very nervous because I got emotional problems. And so I'm going to bring my hamster onto the airplane with me. And according to her, the airlines goes, hey, sure, go ahead, bring it on. Good for you. So she brings her on. And then I'm a mean stewardess. And I don't like that hamster, so you need to go back and flush it down the toilet. Come on. There's nobody. I'm sorry. Okay. I would believe it if you said, see, here's where liars always go wrong. Okay? And you can always tell a bad liar because they always take that kernel of truth and they go one step too far. Always. Study liars. Bad liars always do this. Good liars, they're pretty smart about it. Bad liars always take it one step too far. So I believe, hey, I'm Spirit Airlines. Can I bring my hamster? Well, okay. I get on the thing, and the stewardess goes, you can't have the hamster. And then what she says is, you're probably going to have to leave the airplane. And she goes, I'm not going to leave the airplane. And you see, you're hurting my emotions. And instead of getting off the airplane, she makes up the story, I had to go and flush my hamster. I had to flush it. I don't buy it 1 second. Not one. Okay. If you are with me and you don't believe a word that woman says, you think she took it one step too far, I want you to hit the laugh emoji. I want you to hit the laugh emoji if you think that she's full of crap. If you think that it's real and the airlines told her to flush that hamster, I want you to hit the sad emoji, would you please? Me, I'm going to hit the laugh. I think she's insane. Laugh. There's no way, dummy. No way. No way. Jerome says liar's eyes look to the left. Or would it be, Bill O'Neill, that was epic. What did Bill O'Neill say? Let me go back. Somebody said something epic. I can't. Oh, here we go. Hamsters' lives matter. That's right, Bill. Hamsters' lives matter. I think we should all think about that for a minute. Think about the pain and suffering that your poor girl had to do it when she had to flush that hamster down the toilet. Flush the hamster down the toilet. She didn't flush no hamster down the toilet. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 1 second. One thing I do buy is that these social media companies are trying to censor conservative speech, and it cannot be allowed to happen. So you need to take charge of yourself, charge of your information, and download the HearMeOut app. It's right there, HearMeOut app on your phone. Just go to wherever you get your apps on your phone. Find it, Hear Me Out, spelled just like that. Hear Me Out. Hear Me Out app. Download it. Won't cost you anything. It's like Twitter, but you talk. So it's a lot easier than Twitter, a lot more concise, a lot more clear. You can understand what people are saying as opposed to trying to interpret their emojis and their text. So do me a favor, find me, Rusty Humphries, and follow me. And you should communicate on Hear Me Out too. It's fun, it's easy, and if you type in hashtag Rusty, I'll follow you too. How about that? All right? Also, would you do me a favor? Do yourself a favor too. If you're tired of these liberals and tired of people in your family giving you crap every time you want to have a cookout or hang out with them and you can't talk because Uncle Gus is always trying to fight about politics, get my book, 7 Ways to Win Political Debates Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends, written by me, Rusty Humphries. It is available at Amazon in paperback, in Kindle, and in Audible. And I just got a very nice review by one of America's greatest authors, Orson Scott Card. It is one of the nicest things anyone's ever written about me. I'm going to post that online pretty soon as well. By the way, speaking of Orson Scott Card, we have a great podcast together. It's called We Review Everything, and you can find that wherever you find great podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher. Go find it. It's just Orson Scott Card, Rusty Humphries. We Review Everything. You'll find it. And subscribe to that and the Rusty Humphries Rebellion, okay? Would you please? Your participation in being a part of things makes it worthwhile and makes it so that we can continue. So if you do those things, I really appreciate it. All right? Thank you very much. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't normally do a show on Friday, so I might be here, I might not, probably not. Other than that, Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West. Share this video. Let people know the truth is being told right here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. I do appreciate you. May God bless you, and may God bless America. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.